1 year ago, I decided to chase my dreams and make an indie game. I jumped right in, devoting all of my spare time towards developing the game, and over the past 12 months, I've released 4 devlogs, announced 5 characters, designed over 100 art assets, and even made a Steam page for the game. It's been an exciting year of development, and I wanted to share how it all went and what's next. Welcome to Crimson Hollow. My name's Courtney, and this is my journey. I began my game dev journey early last year, full of inspiration and excitement. I've always loved drawing and dreamed of making my own cozy game that was entirely hand-drawn. From the start, I had a basic concept in mind for Crimson Hollow. The game would be about a magical little town that was hidden from the rest of the world. I knew it would take a lot of resources and planning, so I immersed myself into laying the foundations of the game, and decided early on that I would prioritize characters and immersive role-playing. I spent the early days of development on world building and finding the right art style for the game. I went with an isometric perspective because I wanted the game to feel almost three-dimensional. At this point, I felt like I was onto something special, and I was ready to share my idea with others. It was never my intention to make the game entirely in isolation, and I knew feedback would be an important indicator of the game's viability. So in March, I created a website for the game, started a YouTube channel, and posted my first devlog. For the first few days, nothing really happened with the video, but I remained excited about development, and was already planning out what I wanted to add to the game next. About 4 days after posting the video, I started getting notifications from Discord, and to my surprise, people were joining the server I'd made for the game. I realized that the devlog was getting a lot more views than I'd ever expected, and to this day, I'm still shocked and humbled by the reception for the first video. The feedback I received was incredibly encouraging and motivated me to make a Steam page for the game. With a renewed purpose, I continued to build on to my initial concept for Crimson Hollow, doing at least one small thing every day to push development forward. I had a long journey ahead of me, and countless challenges to overcome, but I knew I was headed in the right direction. The next chapter of my journey was full of learning. During this time, I created a day and night cycle and introduced an energy bar in the game. Essentially, this bar displayed the current phase of the moon and tracked the player's magical energy, which doubled when the moon turned crimson once a month, hence the name Crimson Hollow. The biggest change I made in the summer was my approach towards character animations. Initially, the player characters were hand-drawn and animated using skeletal animations in Unity. This made the player look stiff, so I tried hand-drawn animations, which was incredibly time-consuming, and I quickly recognized the issues this would cause with character customization. I eventually decided to hire a talented 3D artist to do freelance work and create 3D models based off of my character designs. This approach allowed me to reuse the same base models for multiple characters and made character customization more viable. Around this time, I started a Patreon to help with the growing cost of development. I soon announced Crimson Hollow's first ever NPC, Devra the Miner, and shortly after that came the town doctor, Rowan. I also designed a blacksmith shop and implemented mining, and before I knew it, summer was at an end. Fall was a time of change. I've always worked full-time, but in August, I started a new job, so while I adjusted to my new position, I had less time for game development. Up to that point, my routine consisted of developing the game in my spare time, which usually was after I came home from work and on the weekends. However, I now had less free time in the evenings, so I decided to change things up and began waking up a few hours before going into work. It wasn't an easy adjustment, but it gave me some extra time for game development in the morning. I used this time to focus on refining my vision for the game and making the game design document more concise. It was around this time that I designed the town tavern and announced 3 more NPCs: Mina the librarian, Samuel the tavern keeper, and a hunter named Enola. This was a period full of growth and challenge, but looking back now, I'm glad that I kept pushing forward. My main focus in December was on tackling character customization. I started by making a simple character creator that allowed players to choose between a male or female model. Then I added options for players to select their skin, hair, and clothing colors, as well as multiple hairstyles. I also added character backstories, as I was starting to lean heavily into the role-playing aspect of the genre. The backstories influenced player abilities, which would have an impact on ability checks in the game. I also got to work on adding interactable objects like crates and chests that could contain valuable items. The player models were also updated, and I applied a new shader that helped the 3D models blend in better with the overall style of the hand-drawn game. Soon enough, February came around, and I announced on Valentine's Day that Crimson Hollow would have romanceable characters. And now we're all caught up. At this point, I'm focusing on story development and planning out the player's entrance into Crimson Hollow. I've also been figuring out a new glyph mechanic to enhance player experience, but more to come on that in the next devlog, which will be a video you won't want to miss because I have something special planned. Up to this point, Crimson Hollow has been a solo project, but that is changing. I can't say too much just yet, but I look forward to sharing a big announcement about this very soon. Crimson Hollow is still a work in progress, but I'm proud of how far it's come. As I reflect on the past year, I'm super grateful for the support of everyone who's been cheering me on through each step of this journey. If you would like to be the first to know when the game releases, please consider wishlisting Crimson Hollow on Steam. It's a small action that goes a long way in helping the game reach a wider audience. Now, if you've made it to this point in the video, I have a feeling that, like me, you might be on a journey of your own, and I'll be honest, the journey is hard. It's full of surprises and challenges, but it's all a part of growing, and nothing worth having comes easy. So if you're on a journey of your own, I hope you don't give up, and don't turn around, because every step counts. If you're interested in sharing your journey with others, feel free to join our Discord server, where I regularly post events and community updates in the Crimson Gazette. The Crimson Hollow community is very welcoming, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. And finally, a heartfelt thank you goes to the Lunar patrons who have made my dream a possibility. I'm truly grateful for each and every one of your contributions. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.